Okay, so
Okay,
you're doing
ECS will be going con, CSL you'll be bringing pro. See, hey, look, I figured, see, there we go.
got that?
I didn't have to correct anything.
Okay, so we're good. And I think we start with the process first.
We do.
Okay, ladies,
We are, yes, go ahead.
you are going first.
Okay. I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes. Hold on 1 second. All right, ladies, when y'all are ready, I'll press the start button.
My name is Edens Richardson. This is my partner, Mallory Miller. Other team, are you ready? Judges, are you ready?
Yes.
We are here to debate whether or not zoos do more good than harm. A zoo, according to Merriam-Webster, is a facility where usually indoor and outdoor settings where living, typically wild animals, are kept especially for public exhibition. Called also a zoological garden or a zoological park. Zoos do more harm than good because they are often abusive to animals. Animals who are taken from the wild will never see their natural habitat again, and they restrict space. Also, having a large zoo population will never help the wild population. When animals are born and bred in captivity, they become extremely uncomfortable in their living space because they are never able to be in the open wild and their natural instincts are suppressed. For example, if a cheetah is born in captivity, it will never be able to reach its full potential top speeds. And a captive orca whale, dorsal fin muscles will deteriorate and fall off one side due to the whales not being able to reach their top speeds in a small space.
Right.
Many zoos are abusive or neglectful towards their animals. Like Asian zoos, which are notoriously abusive. In Sabaean zoos, tigers were fed harmful chemicals such as formalin. Zoos are often dangerous for the animals who eat trash and potentially are denied vet care. Animals do not have the appropriate space for living their life to the fullest inside the zoo. Tigers and lions have around 18,000 times less space in a zoo than they have in the wild. No matter what, animals will always have more space in the wild than in captivity, since there is no way a confined space intended for viewing can fully support the animal's needs, the needs of the animal. Although endangered animals can be rehabilitated in zoos, their wild population will not be helped. This is because animals raised in captivity will never be able to be set free, since their natural life and ability to survive will be changed by their youth in captivity. An example of an animal abusive problem was the case of Harambe. Harambe was a silverback gorilla shot and killed after a child fell into a cage. This is a problem with zoos all around. Cages should be to keep the animals in and the people out. Harambe's cage failed to properly keep the child out of the cage, meaning it was the zoo's fault the child fell in the cage of Harambe. It was also the zoo's fault that Harambe was shot and killed, as they failed to have the appropriate tranquilizer to subdue the gorilla in time. Zoos do more harm than good because they are often abusive to animals. Animals who are in zoos are taken from the wild and will never see the natural habitat again. They restrict space, and having a large zoo population will never help the wild population. Thank you.
All right, ECS, when you are ready, you will have 4 minutes to present your case.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, judges. Good afternoon, fellow debaters. Good afternoon, members of the audience. My name is Hudson Sanders. This is Jody Lewis, and this is Christopher Lewis. And our team believes zoos do not do more harm than good. The word zoo is an abbreviated form of zoological garden, and it was coined in the 19th century. A zoo can be described as a collection of animals found in nature. The reasons behind keeping animals in captivity are associated with educational needs, research, recreation, and conservation. The zoo culture can be traced back to the early period of Chinese, Egyptian, and Mesopotamian civilizations. The common types of zoos that we know are urban cage zoos, safaris, and sanctuaries. For a long time, zoos have contributed to the conservation of endangered animal species. It is argued that animals don't have rights as such. In order to protect and take care of endangered wild animals, they need to be captured and confined in secure places. With the rise in poaching of animals for fur, ivory, and supposed medicinal benefits, zoos appear to be the safe havens for animals. Moreover, captive breeding can help raise the number of endangered wild animals. It is true that in the past, many zoos have subjected animals to cruel treatment. However, there is continuous improvement observed in the manner in which zoos operate. It won't be fair to shut down all the zoos for the sake of mistakes committed by a few in the past. Not all zoos subject animals to cruel treatment. With reforms brought about in this sector, animals are given a much better treatment today. These days, zoo authorities place a greater emphasis on education, environmental problems, and conservation than merely recreation. Many school children visit zoos to know more about endangered species and how to conserve them. The signboards in zoos provide useful details about animals, including their scientific name, habitat, origin, diet, etc., etc. Students can study about different kinds of wild animals without having to travel to far-off places. Zoo owners claim that conservation of endangered species of animals is their prime objective. Also, it is stated that zoos are a safer place for animals than being threatened by poaching. Zoo authorities do admit that the functioning of zoos is not flawless and that captive animals do suffer from problems. However, they also expect people to appreciate the sincere efforts taken by them to protect and preserve wild animals. Zoos educate many kids worldwide and even many adults. More than half the world would not know about some animals currently housed in the zoo. Each house for an animal contains a sign in front of it informing the reader about the animal and what species it is and other facts. This is important for education. Not only can people read up about wonderful animals, but they can see firsthand an example right in front of them. Zoos also help the animals and save wildlife species. For example, if the zoos had not saved the bald eagle, it would be extinct right now. By taking it in, caring for it, and then releasing it into the wild, it'd save the species of birds altogether. I'm done.
The pro team, there is a 3-minute section of crossfire. We're going to start with our pro team, and y'all can alternate asking and answering questions. I'm going to set it for 3 minutes. Pro team, tell me when you're ready. And just as a note, each team is entitled to 2 minutes of prep time during the round. At any time y'all need to take some prep time,
Okay.
just tell me and we can give you 2 minutes.
Okay. How are zoos any better than looking the animal up on the internet?
Because you can't see the animal's behaviors as well on the internet, because that will show a picture from a specific time or a video from a specific time, not how they do day to day, because you can go to a zoo multiple days and see it behaving differently, whereas with the video you're only seeing a certain behavior or a certain time with a picture.
What if you look at a video?
I think we need, that was your one question.
Oh, yes.
Now we get one question from the con side.
You said that zoos hurt by releasing animals from zoos, it hurts the wild population. How does it hurt the wild population?
We didn't specifically say that it hurted the wild population. We said it didn't help the population.
All right, y'all can pose a question at this time.
What protects animals in countries other than the U.S.?
Certified laws agreed on by multiple nations. You said that animals in zoos can never reach their full potential. However, certain zoos, such as the Memphis Zoo, have recently expanded like their hippo exhibit into what it would be for one hippopotamus to be in the wild. So why can't we do that with more animals? Why is it always hurting them from reaching their full potential?
Well, the Memphis Zoo is an example, but most zoos don't have the money to fund the space for an animal to be in that. And you also said that one hippopotamus can live in exhibit, and there's more than one hippopotamus, so they're not reaching their full potential.
Does GSL have another question they'd like to pose?
Mallory?
Circuses are technically zoos, and even though abuse is illegal in the U.S., they exist and are prominent elsewhere,
Time
problematic
is up.
elsewhere.
All right. Next, our pro team will be given 4 minutes to refute the opposing side's arguments. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Yep. The point about the safety of the zoos was, or like the longevity that animals achieve in zoos is flawed because elephants and many other animals have a much shorter lifespan than their wild counterparts. And you didn't offer any evidence to support that most animals have a longer lifespan. So, and the other point about education is flawed because it would be better to do it, to just look them up because you can see them in their actual natural habitat rather than a cage or other kinds of habitats that zoos have. Whether no matter how you spin it, that's not their natural habitat. And we want to spend the rest of this time to reiterate our points from before. Zoos do a lot of bad in that they abuse and neglect animals in need that could take care for themselves if they were given the opportunity. Captive-born animals will never see where they came from, and animals like cheetahs will never run at top speed because of their enclosures. This means that zoos are unsafe for many animals. Zoos are raised in Zoos also do not benefit endangered animals because they will never be released into the wild if they are raised in captivity. And even if they are, they probably wouldn't live very long since they're used to being pampered and given food without any kind of problem reaching it. Harambe is an example of a time that zoos caused and worsened a life-threatening situation by shooting the animal and having a cage that was bad enough for the child to get into the cage. Zoos do more harm than good because they often abuse animals and take animals who are from the wild will never see their natural habitat again. They restrict space, and having a large zoo population will never help the wild population because they'll have to stay in captivity for the rest of their lives for them to be safe, which harms the animal overall. Thank you.
ECS, when you are ready, you also have 4 minutes to refute the opposing side's arguments.
You said that animals don't have enough space in their enclosures. However, several animals do have enough space in their enclosures, and to be certified, you have to have enough space by legal requirements set by zoo standards for enough space to get your certification. Harambe, you said that Harambe is an example of zoos abusing an animal and putting in a life-threatening situation. Yes, this one was, but this was a mistake that was handled badly. There were another 10 examples of similar incidents that were all handled exactly how they should have been and not ending with the animal being killed. Education is better you said that education was better via picture. However, education is much better via zoos because some pictures are coming from the zoo. Plus, putting a camera into an animal's habitat in order to get that picture is not healthy for the habitat. And getting a picture and seeing something in a zoo, you can watch it over a period of time and see how it changes, moves from different areas, and moves, eats, drinks, all of that. All of which you can see better in person than in a video. Also, videos are often showing things from zoos, such as the popular Planet Earth 2 from BBC. Certain things that they wanted to show as an extension to their documentaries, they were unable to find in the wild due to their rarity, and they couldn't legally put a camera in the correct place to get it. So instead, they put the exact situation it would have been caught in an enclosed habitat. You bring up cheetahs not being able to reach their top speed a lot. However, cheetahs are allowed into an animal sanctuary after hours where they can run to their maximum speed for as long as they want. This all happens after hours, so even though you do not see this is still going on. Now to go back over some of our points, we said that animals don't have rights where they in the wild are shot, they're illegally shot, they're poached, they're killed, some fish species are in danger because of fish being induced into a new area and driving them out, and we have to save the fish by putting them into zoos. But they're getting overrun in their natural environment from predators, from people, and we can protect them in zoos. Also, in the past, zoos have used cruel treatment. However, it wouldn't be fair to shut down all zoos because not all zoos have done this, and most zoos don't do this. Also, zoo certification is required, which requires enough space for the animal and certain living conditions. That's our.
All right, here's our second session of Crossfire. Speaker 2 from Team A they'll start alternating and answering questions. So when y'all are ready, I will set my timer for 3 minutes.
We're ready.
Okay.
How are several animals that are helped or are given enough space in zoos? How do those several animals outbalance all of the other animals in the zoo that don't have enough space? Since those animals are actually given more space, that's negative for the rest of the animals sometimes. And even if it's not negative, they still don't have enough space. So how does that outbalance? How does one outbalance the other?
Different animals require different amounts of space. Some animals don't move very much, and they only need a little bit amount of space. But with that little bit of extra space that we can give, we can take away a little bit of their space that they're not using, give it to a bigger animal so that they'll have space. It all goes into the zoo's design. Plus, zoos, once more, have to be certified with enough space so that before they're given their license and allowed to get animals in the first place. They are also given limits on how many animals they can have. Question. What do you want to ask? You brought up Harambe several times. However, why do you say that it was Harambe? You keep on pushing it so that the safety boundaries were not good enough to keep the kid out. Why do you keep on saying this?
Because it's true, but that's not the only thing that he said. We also said that they didn't have the right tranquilizer on hand, which is a total mistake on the zoo's part. So there's no reason why they shouldn't have the correct tranquilizer, or a powerful enough tranquilizer to be able to tranquilize Harambe instead of just shooting him. So there is no reason for them not to have that on hand, since they have gorillas in their zoo, and that's incredibly unsafe for everyone involved. Also, we wanted to ask that how do zoos help endangered species? Like, most animals who are saved from being endangered are saved because of hunting laws, not because they were rehabilitated in zoos, since the outward population of them aren't actually affected by the in part of the zoo. Because they can't release the animals back into the wild after they've been raised in captivity. That's going to get the animals killed, and it's very counterproductive. So how do zoos help endangered species in the wild?
Because sometimes the species are just dead in the wild. There are none left in the wild. There are still some left in zoos, and there are several examples of animals saved by zoos. But sometimes zoos have the only animals left, not just like in the wild. And using those animals, they are able to grow the population. And with new...
All right, time's up. At this time, Team A, which is our pro team, will give a 2-minute summary crystallizing the main issues of your team.
In summary, zoos have many issues that cause them to be problematic to animals everywhere. Though there are many good zoos that are morally sound, there are too many zoos that are causing issues to animals and people everywhere. Zoos in places all over the globe are abusing animals. Specifically, Asian zoos are notorious for hurting the animals being held there, but not purchasing good meat or other food products and medical supplies. In the United States, so many zoos could use improvement for veterinarian services, safety precautions, and 5,000 healthy animals are dying in zoos in Europe every year. There are many exceptional zoos, but the number of healthy animals dying needs to be reduced because zoos can be called a safe place to help animals. Zoos do more harm than good because they are often abusive to animals. Animals who are taken from the wild will never see their natural habitat again. They restrict space, and having a large zoo population will never help the wild population. Thank you.
All right, when you're ready, our con team, also you have 2 minutes to deliver your 2-minute summary.
Our team is here today to show you why zoos are good. The reason why zoos are good is because zoos care for animals that are on the brink of extinction. Good zoos fight wildlife extinction. Good zoos educate visitors. Good zoos attract people. Zoos hold animals that are all over the world. Zoos hold animals that we cannot reach. Good zoos make sure the animals have all they need. Good zoos constantly strive for better animal welfare. Good zoos rescue animals that are hurt or endangered. A species protected in captivity provide a reservoir population against extinction. A good number of species only exist in captivity, and still more only exist in the wild because they have been reintroduced from zoos or the wild populations have been boosted by captivity-bred animals. Zoos are a great place for education. The animals are protected from natural predators. Kids at a young age need a place to go and see the animals outside of the books or the internet. Some zoos also take in abandoned animals. Zoos hold funds to do research. Zoos with amazing luxury space, like San Diego, zoos have air conditioning. For example, a California condor was brought back from extinction from 24 animals to 170. The Pierre David's deer didn't exist in the wild, and the European and Chinese zoos brought them back and released 4 of the deer. The progress zoos have made over the past 20 years is real and undeniable. Zoos save animals from extinction. Thank you.
We have now reached the grand crossfire, which lasts 3 minutes. All 4 debaters involved. Anyone can ask a question.
Can I have a 30 minutes?
Absolutely. This is the first time that we have moved to a 3-person model. The 2 or 3 debates we've done before this were 2-people teams. But the debate league that we're entering work with 3-person teams. So we've made the shifts because we're going to be dealing with other people. So it used to be just speaker 1 and speaker 2. Now they've introduced a scribe, and on it, the person who's just writing down rebuttal points that they hear from the other side.
So in a sense, the scribe's the person who's in the person.
Yeah, just writing down, focusing on what the other team says so they can refute it.
It's very nice to use a course of word. You don't want to pronounce it.
I forgot what it was. I forgot what the word
They
was.
just use it as a hard English.
This girl said this, I can't remember the word she had, but let's just say it was presentation. She would say crossentation, and I went, presentation. And she's like, no, crossentation. I was like, no, crossentation's not a word. Then she said, no, I said, presentation's the word. She goes, what's crossentation? I'm like, crossentation's not a word.
I'll give you another one. I'm on a committee that's rewriting the Constitution for the organization. And the person who's the chair has a breaks on his hand. Can't type very well. So he sends around comments and it says comments. Nobody has yet corrected it.
Oh.
I'm like, no, these are
All right,
comments.
those 2 minutes are up.
So people who are very here. Okay, great. Crossfire. There you go.
Whenever you're ready. Oh, y'all ready?
We'll use our 2 minutes.
Crossfire.
Huh?
We'll use our 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, well, hey, there we go.
Actually, 1 minute, please.
Oh, okay. Well, they're getting measurement too. so.
There you go.
That's new too. We've never had this thing in
Because I
left-hand
started
column.
filling them in.
Basically, what you just need to have over here is a number out of 4.
Okay. All right. Okay. But it's what it's doing is it's giving you a number for each of these elements.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
And I suppose when Ms. Davis, and she said, oh, I clarified it. It's like, okay, so this is for constructive, that was for the first one, and this was for rebuttal. Each of these things apply. That's the way I read it. So you want a number, because they have to get a high enough number, it's going to be a big number at the bottom here, because they get a number for each of these things, for each of these. In other words, you get one out of these for each one of these. Did I explain that right?
The average is going to be 4 at most.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Right, no, I'm with you.
That's good.
We're ready.
You're it? Okay.
How much time did you?
It is confusing. It
It is. I wish they had discussed this with the judges beforehand, because that is new. All right, at this point, we will do the 3-minute grand crossfire. All 4 debaters, or all debaters may ask and answer. Fine, thank you. All right, would you like to begin?
Sure. Yeah. Can you give more than one example of an animal that was saved by zoos alone?
The Arabian oryx, the Przewalski's horse, the California condor, the Korobi frog, the bongo, the Regent honey eater, the Panamanian golden frog, the Berliner river turtle, the golden lion tamarian, and the armored leopard.
Also, zoos bring in tourists, which provides economy and jobs.
You gotta ask a question. We have information that says that wild elephants sea lions can live to 30 years in captivity versus 30 years in captivity versus to the average of 20 years in the wild. And you said that animals lived shorter in zoos than in the wild. So where did you get your information?
Well, we didn't say that exactly. You kind of misunderstood what I said, I think. I was saying that you were saying that, mostly I was saying that you didn't give any supporting evidence for why you said that they did live longer. And I gave an example, the elephant, of a thing that didn't live longer. So I was saying that, can you really say that most animals live longer? That's not really a question, but that's what I was saying.
And our question is, how is the San Diego Zoo a relevant topic when it's one of the best zoos in the world and it doesn't say anything about a regular zoo since it's one of the best zoos in the world?
Because it's to the same accreditation that every other zoo is. It's a little nicer than other zoos, but it's that nice and it's a little bigger than the standard zoo. However, it's
That's the end of the grand crossfire. Grace St. Luke's, if you're speaker 2, we give a 2-minute final focus.
Okay. Oh, all right. In final focus, zoos have many issues that cause them to be problematic to animals everywhere. Though there are many good zoos that are morally sound, there are too many zoos that are causing issues to animals and people everywhere. Zoos in places all over the globe are abusing animals. Specifically, Asian zoos are notorious for hurting the animals being held there. by not purchasing good meat or other food products, and medical supplies. In the United States, so many zoos could use improvement or veterinary service and safety precautions. 5,000 healthy animals are dying in zoos in Europe every year, and there are many exceptional zoos. But the number of healthy animals dying needs to be reduced before zoos can be called a safe place to help animals. We cannot thank you enough for inviting us to participate in today's tournament. Furthermore, no matter what the results, we hope all of you, judges and debaters alike, have a lovely time this evening. Thank you.
ECS, when you're ready, you also can give a 2-minute final focus.
Fellow debaters and judges, we thank you for this opportunity, and we really enjoyed ourselves today. To reiterate what our team said, we said that zoos are good for animals who are on the brink of extinction. Zoos have requirements that help them to give animals the proper space and habitat needed. Zoos have proper safety procedures to keep people and animals alike safe alike, and we also said that zoos are great for education We demonstrated to you that because we used different websites and examples to back these facts, and we are able to say in conclusion that zoos are a good thing and we should keep them in our society.
Thank you, both teams. Very strong efforts on both sides.